Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Evidence, the podcast where we dive deep into true crime cases, uncovering the facts and exploring the unanswered questions that keep us coming back for more. I'm your host, Marv, and I want to thank you for joining me today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can find links to my PayPal and Cash App in the description. Now, let's get into today's topic.
Breaking all the patterns, facts and theories, clues and controversy. Join the journey, uncovering the mystery. This is Beyond the Evidence, where justice prevails, with Marv leading the way. Truth never fails. Now get ready for this live stream. Super chat, highlight your message. Don't fall victim to the irrelevance. Hit that like, share, subscribe to Marv's Beyond the Evidence.
Hello. How is everyone tonight? We've got a guest with us.
What's going on, YouTube?
Couple of them.
We do. A couple of them. Me, everybody.
Yeah, you and who
What's
else?
up, Marv? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
We got Sterling here with us, everybody. Our,
Hey, can you
Shirley,
our contrarian right there.
can you hear me okay?
we can.
Loud and clear, my friend. Yes, sir.
Perfect. I don't have a lot of time, but I can always rejoin after I do my other little thing. But yeah, let's get started. Thanks for having me.
Okay.
So we know that a bunch
yeah,
of
so what's going on?
from the defense yesterday, and boy, have we been digging through them. It's been quite
Oh my gosh.
right?
Yeah, I've heard a
There's
little bit
a lot
about
of stuff to go over here.
Yeah, Marv. So is this like is this like normal filings for an appeal process, or what did they file exactly?
They filed, well, I've got a couple documents here, but Sterling, since you only have a few minutes with us right now and then can come back. Basically, they're asking for a hearing, and they want the court to issue an amended abstract of judgment in support of the motion. And basically, they've got 4 different areas that they are highlighting. The fact that he had an attorney before the safekeeping hearing, the van and the time the van went through the area, the confession of Ronald Logan, as said by his bunkmate in jail. And then number 4 was, oh my God, why am I blanking? What was number 4, Anthony?
The van?
The van, the attorney,
Ron Logan's confession. What was it?
I thought there was 4.
What was it?
The main things mentioned in
Ron
the
Logan's confession.
Yeah. Plus the van.
Yeah, the van.
Maybe slash timeline. Oh, and I think Greeno was talking about the phone jack. I'm not sure.
Oh yes, the phone jack. That was it. The other one, whether something was plugged into the phone or not.
What screen are you sharing? Like as your main screen?
Whether something's plugged in.
Because the main screen seems like it's blank the way I'm seeing it on stream. Like we're over here on the side of the screen, and then on your main screen, the big picture is blank.
Yes, there's nothing there. There's nothing there right now.
Okay, just check. Sorry.
There's going to be something there when we pull up the documents. Yeah. So, and if I'm glitchy, everybody, it's just sorry.
So tonight we have chosen to go with the van, the information on the van. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be doing multi live streams this week on all of this information. And the van is the biggest thing. Now, Sterling, you're here because we want your opinion on this van information. Defense is stating that the van now is seen in a video at 2:44, and this kind of affects the timeline of what the prosecution presented at the trial.
Okay, yeah, because like I was wondering what video is this, and was it available during the trial, or is this new information? Because like if this evidence was available during trial, then why didn't they present that? You know,
exactly. And from my understanding, all of this information was given to them during discovery, and they had the opportunity to bring this into the trial to try to perjure Brad Weber's testimony, and they did not. But they've had this the whole time.
Did maybe somehow Gall deny it?
So why wait until now?
That's the big question: is why didn't they bring this up to perjure Brad Weber's testimony during the trial? The van was the biggest thing in the world when it came to this case. I think one of them,
right?
And for them not to bring this information into the trial to refute his testimony was a big mistake.
And I wonder, like the way I might have. I wonder the way they worded it. They were like it was his van, not a van that looked like his. It was pretty definitive the way I read it, and I was just wondering, how are they so sure? I don't know.
Well, there's documents that we're going to read. I know that you have to go, but hopefully once we read through these documents while you're gone, we can answer that question and then let you know when you get back.
Perfect. Cheers.
So,
cool. So you take it off? All right, there he goes.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we just wanted to bring Sterling in real quick. We knew he had another engagement. He'll be back. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to read through the motion to correct abstract of judgment. It's short. I'm just going to share it here with you.
Pull it up on the screen.
Yep.
Okay.
I think this is the right one. Nope. I got the wrong one. Hang on.
So what's up, everybody? I haven't seen you guys in a long time here. Greeno, will you make me an AI girl? Sure. I'll turn you all into AI people.
All right.
So are they looking at the wrong? Someone's asking.
Well, that's part of the question.
Well, you know what? So the biggest thing I was wondering, and I think I asked you and everything else, what does it matter if it's his van 10 minutes later or not?
It matters.
Like, what would that matter? Does Does it mean that Richard Allen didn't kill him?
Not necessarily, but it means that the timeline is off because of how Nick presented the evidence. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to zoom in. Let me zoom in again because it's kind of still small for y'all. Okay. Motion to correct abstract of judgment. Defendant Richard M. Allen by counsel respectfully requests that this court issue an amended abstract of judgment. In support of this motion, defendant states the following. On December 23rd, 2024, this court issued an abstract of judgment in this case. Under Part IV of the form, the court indicated that there were no mental health concerns with defendant. Yet at trial, evidence was presented that defendant had significant mental health concerns throughout this case. Dr. Walla, Dr. Martin, and Dr. Westcott all testified about defendant's mental health issues. Video evidence revealed behavior by defendant while awaiting trial that raised concerns about his mental health as well. Providing accurate information on the abstract, of judgment is critical to ensure the DOC is aware of the defendant's mental health issues so that defendant will receive continuity of care and appropriate placement, effective treatment, and medication, etc.
I can't even see that stuff.
So,
but I'm blind.
Basically, what that is just stating that they want the record corrected because of the fact that he's been convicted and he does have mental health issues.
Yeah.
All right. The next one here, let me present that one, is a motion for a hearing. So, defendant's motion for hearing on motion to correct errors. The defendant, Richard Allen, by counsel, respectfully requests that this court set a hearing on defendant's motion to correct errors. In support of this motion, the defendant states the following. 1, the defendant has filed a motion to correct errors with the filing of this motion. Number 2, in the motion to correct errors, the defendant requested that the matter be set for a hearing. 3, Indiana Trial Rule 7C requires a party requesting a hearing to file such a request by separate motion. And then you have the standard jargon of the defendant by counsel now respectfully requests that this court set a hearing on his motion to correct errors. All right.
Yeah. And you know what? So it doesn't say that so someone's commenting, it doesn't say that the police didn't do a thorough investigation, because they did. They knew that he went home. You got to remember here, the defense team has lied a lot in their court filings. So it's hard to tell what's actually truthful within these documents all the time because there's so much stuff that they've put out. It gets confusing at times.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and now we've heard from the defense from the past 2 years is Odinist, Brad Weber, Patrick Westfall, Elvis Fields, and now it's switching. So which one is it? That's my big question. Why didn't they do this at trial?
For them, it's anybody but Richard Allen.
Right.
It's anybody. They don't care who it is. They'll just point the finger at some random person and say it's them.
So the verified motion to correct errors on behalf of Richard Allen. They're saying in violation of the 6th and 14th Amendments, Mr. Allen was deprived of counsel at the safekeeping proceeding of November 3rd, 2022. The proceedings was a critical stage at which Mr. Allen was entitled to be represented by counsel. We know that this has been an issue of theirs all along. Okay. And it all goes with the transfer for personal safety or safety of others. And this was a motion by the sheriff, the prosecuting attorney, defendant or his counsel, attorney general, or court. They place Indiana code here, governs safekeeping proceedings for pretrial detainees, and provides in full a statute of post-transfer hearing, right of inmate to refuse transfer. They're saying Mr. Allen was interrogated and arrested on October 26, 2022, and booked into the Carroll County Jail under a pseudonym, meaning a fake name. The next day, October 27, 2022, Kathy Allen, Mr. Allen's wife, hired attorney Brett Gibson to represent Mr. Allen, Exhibit 1, Affidavit of Kathy Allen. In the evening of October 27th, Mr. Gibson sent a letter by email to the Carroll County Sheriff's Office and to Nicholas McClellan, the Carroll County prosecutor, Exhibit 1B. So we're going to go through this part of it on another live stream.
Yeah, because this part's really interesting.
And we're looking into some things for this part of it. What we're going to cover tonight is, so is this all due to the safekeeping?
Most of it is the safekeeping order. They're saying that it's a violation because he had an attorney, but
Okay,
I mean,
here's the part that we want. Now, this is on page 9 of this document. The state also introduced the testimony of Brad Weber that he left work at the Subaru factory in Lafayette, Indiana at 2:02 p.m. on February 13, 2017, and arrived home in his white cargo van about 2:30 p.m. From Mr. Weber's testimony, the state argued Mr. Weber arrived home in his van was what interrupted Mr. Allen, causing him to take LG and AW across Deer Creek to kill them on Ron Logan's property. The arrival of Mr. Weber's van at about 2:30 was a detail only the killer would know, said the state. But the problem is the state also contended that LG and AW died near in time to 2:32 p.m. when Apple Health data from LG's phone showed that the phone stopped moving. If the arrival of Mr. Weber in his van interrupted Mr. Allen, forcing him across Deer Creek, Mr. Weber would have had to arrive near his parents' house at the end of the private drive before 2:32 p.m., when, according to the state, the phone stopped moving and was located on the north side of Deer Creek. In fact, Mr. Weber could not have arrived anywhere on the private drive before 2:44 p.m. on February 13, 2017. His arrival at about 2:30 could not have been a detail only the killer would know because it did not happen. The state knew or should have known as much, and the state either elicited Mr. Weber's testimony about the time he arrived home, knowing it was false ahead of time, or failed to correct the testimony once it had been elicited. Defendant's Exhibit 3A, as attested to by Matthew Hoffman, and Defendant's Exhibit 3 is a video recording made on February 13, 2017 by a security camera that was in the house at 5998 West County Road 252 North. The video recording was provided to the defense by the state and has therefore been in the state's possession. Exhibit 3. The security camera faced northwest, and appears to have recorded continuously. Based on the date and timestamps of the video, it appears that the security camera was set to record date and time information as part of the recording. The time on the security camera was set 12 hours behind, such that 12 a.m. is really 12 p.m. on the same day. This is apparent due to the daylight and moonlight on the video and the associated timestamps. The security camera had a wide-angled lens that captured video of traffic on West 252 North and County Road N 625 North, and the beginning of the private drive to the Weber property, which begins as a continuation of N 625 West, approximately 190 feet north of the road's intersection with W252N. County roads N 625 North and West 252 North are the only roads by which the vehicle could enter the Weber property. According to the time and date stamps on the security camera recording, Exhibit 3A shows a white vehicle going north on North 625 West, entering the frame at approximately 2:44:33 p.m. on February 13, 2017. Exhibit 3A also shows a white vehicle continuing into the private drive to the Weber property at approximately 2:44:54 p.m. Exhibit 3A is viewable on YouTube at the following address, and I do have these videos pulled up.
I was going to say, I got one right here, that video or whatever pulled into the thing.
Do you want to go ahead now and show it since we're talking about it?
We can. It's a 1-minute video, everybody. There's no audio to this video. It's got multiple views. It zooms in a few times. Just take a look at when you see a house is what you're looking for, and you're seeing there's a road in front of it. Take a look at this here. So it'll be over there on the left.
Yep. So on the left side, you see the White House, and here comes the van.
Okay, now that's going down 625, apparently, is what it's saying.
It's saying that it shows a white van coming into the private drive to the Weber property at approximately 2:44:54. So it enters the frame going north on N 625 West, entering the frame at approximately 2:44:33. And then it shows the white vehicle continuing into the private drive to the Weber property at approximately 2:44:54.
Okay. So, and that's the vehicle right there, everybody, that you just saw. So I know some people were calling it like a ghost vehicle or whatever, but that was it.
Okay, so Exhibit 3B is a video file that contains 3 zoomed clips from the video recording that is Exhibit 3A. Each successive clip in Exhibit 3B is zoomed to a greater magnification. That's what you saw there at the end. Exhibit 3, in all 3 zoomed clips of Exhibit 3B, a white cargo van going north on N625W just after 2:44:33 p.m. on February 13, 2017. Exhibit 3B is viewable on YouTube at the following address. Do you have that video?
It's this one that takes me to. That took me to this video.
Okay.
It's the other video I don't have because I couldn't upload it here.
Okay. Exhibit 3C is a PDF with the still photographs taken from Exhibit 3B. You may want to go back to the document because they show pictures here.
Okay. All right, that's going to close out. There they are. Okay, let's take a look at these pictures.
Okay, so when I'm reading, it says these are still photographs taken from Exhibit 3B at each magnification level. Each magnification level, zoom level 1, zoom level 2, and zoom level 3. There are 3 stills showing the white cargo van. Just before it passes the white sunlit house in the background on the west side of N625 West. 2, as it blocks the sunlit house. And 3, just after it passes the sunlit house. Reproduced below is the first still image on page 3. So they're saying circled is the white cargo van before it passes the sunlit house on the west side of N625 West. Exhibit 3D is a photograph of Brad Weber's white cargo van provided to the defense by the state and therefore has been in the state's possession. The photograph of Mr. Weber's white cargo van in Exhibit 3D appears to be at least similar to the white cargo van as it appears in Exhibits 3B and 3C. The zoom video clips and zoom still photographs created from Exhibit 3A, the original security camera recording. Other video files produced by the security camera in the state's possession provided to the defense in discovery and covering the time from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. So that's important. This video is from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on February 13, 2017. Do not show any other van driving north on N625 West into the private drive to the Weber property or traveling east on W252 North during that time. So they're saying no other vans were seen in this footage during 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Okay.
Okay. So it must be his.
Right. Exhibits 3A, 3B, and 3C reflect that if Mr. Weber returned home in his cargo white van, he could only have arrived home some minutes after 2:44:54 p.m. on the 13th, 12 minutes after the time the extraction of LG's cellular telephone shows the telephone stopped moving at 2:32. So this is the big contention.
Is that the phone stopped moving?
There's in the trial, when I was sitting in there, they stated that the girls must have been killed around 2:32 p.m. because, as we know, the phone was found, and the shoe was over the phone, and Abby's body was over both.
You're right. So I mean, to me, that doesn't throw anything off. To me, it just shows that Richard Allen had more time with them prior to Brad showing up. We have from 2:13 till 2:44. We have a half hour that he's with them.
But he told the jury that the girls were already deceased around 2:32 p.m. and that the reason Richard Allen forced them across the creek and killed them is because he saw or heard the white van, which would have all happened before 2:32. That's the issue that this is raising. Now, if you remember, during the trial, when we would discuss at night after I had been sitting in there, I told you the defense went after Brad Weber about the fact of, did you stop at your ATMs or did you go straight home? And he said, I went straight home. And so that is how Nick McClellan stated, hang on. stated that if he left and punched out at 2:02, walked to his car, drove the about 30 minutes, he would have gotten there between 1:30 and 1:35.
2:35.
Or 2:35, sorry.
Yeah.
2:35. So it does put a hole in Nick McClelland's timeline and the way things happened.
Or does it? Because it shows that the phone was already over there at 2:32. It was already there before he showed up. Then, if he showed up at 2:44, when did he see the van? You know what I mean? Like, was he on the other side of the creek?
No, according to Nick McClelland, they were on the south side. After they had gone down the hill, he had stopped them there. They were on the south side. He heard the van coming and forced them across the creek and then unalived them up a little bit from the bank. That was what Nick told the jury. So this does cause an issue. Now, my question is, if the video is off by 12 hours, could it be off by minutes also? Because we know that daylight savings does that.
It would be 12 minutes off.
Right. So how do we know for sure that the 2:44 time is correct? If on the original video we know it's 12 hours off.
Right. It's 12 hours off. And I don't know. I think in that video, I don't even know if you could see the time on it. I think the time's cut off. Let's see if you can actually see it. I'm going to pull it up here. Can you see? You can't even see the time on the video. It's cut off. They've purposely cut it off. They're lying. I'm telling you. I think they're lying. They're hiding this for some reason. Why would we not be able to see what time it was?
Right. Why are they covering up the time? Play that video and see if or the other video and see if at any time we can see the time on the video as we're talking.
Okay.
So this doesn't even have a timestamp.
Nope, because it's zoomed in. So the first shot that you get is supposed to be the wide shot of the whole screen, and you don't even get the time. So something's fishy about that.
Yes, I agree. That's why I'm questioning. Okay, Mia says you can see the time. On which video, Mia?
Yeah, because I'm not seeing any times. Mia Green, 2:44:38. Yeah, where do you see that at? Because I'm not seeing any kind of time here.
Video. Oh, hang on. All right, I found it.
Okay.
I'm going to remove the document here. Which one is this? It's the long one. Okay. Now, on this video, you can clearly see the time of 2:42 as it runs. But on the other videos, you cannot see the time. And this is the one that is furthest away, where all you see is a quick blip of the van come through. And I'm going to fast forward this because it's 8 minutes long.
And during that 8 minutes, I don't think I saw any other vehicles, maybe one, go by.
Okay, I'm going to start it at 2:43:55. You're going to see right here a van go by, and then you lose it. And I believe this is where they're saying it shows it turning into the private drive.
Turning into the private drive? See, I don't understand that. That's what I'm trying to figure out where this is exactly.
Well, and because
it's not making sense to me.
You can't see it go beyond this point. You'll see it here in just a minute. Here it comes. See, you can barely see it. And you lose motion of it right here.
I wonder what that is. I'm going to see if I can find this area on a map. I know there's a white fence across the road over there with pine trees and then that house. So if we could figure out exactly where that's located at, then we could tell where that camera angle is shooting from and where that van is actually going. That's what I was trying to figure out yesterday. Is the first thing I saw was something else. You know, I thought it was somewhere else, but it's not where I originally thought it was. So while you're doing that, I'm going to pull up a map and see what I can see on the map.
So once again, here it goes. You can see it, and then it disappears. So is that right in here the entrance to the private drive?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
See it continue down in this area. You can even barely see it in this area.
Yeah,
okay, hang on.
Yeah, you can barely see it there.
Randy, here's your link is coming. Randy thinks he knows where that is.
Is it on 200, Randy? I'm looking at the map now. Because I'm thinking this is that road over there that we see the van on is actually County Road 200.
Well,
you would turn left.
It says that he is on showing a circle the white cargo van before it passes the sunlit house on the west side of N625 West. Hey, Randy.
Hey, look towards. Remember, I showed you where the old railroad line, Greeno?
Yes. Yep.
Look towards that way.
By the church?
Yeah, by the church. Go that way.
Okay. I'm looking at the
State Farm was trying to charge me $197 for car insurance. No thanks.
What's that?
An ad.
Oh, the ads. Okay. So let me see here. So it's off 200, Randy, right?
Yeah, right. You remember I took you over there? There's that. If you look for that white fence, it's close to there, where that white fence is, that tree line.
Is it close to
It's close. You see from where the house is, where the house is sitting there. You'll look, of course, Brad Weber's house is on the left, right-hand side of that. Behind that white, the fence line is.
Is it close to Abby's house?
No. If he's going back, coming into his home, he already passed Abby's home. So look for the little white church.
Here's Richard Allen's home. The church is right here.
Okay, so zoom in and bring it down more. Bring it down. Oh,
this way or this way?
Go up.
This way?
Not down.
Again, you go. All right, now move the thing over towards the left. Okay.
Towards the highway?
No, not towards the highway. Towards the church.
Okay.
So go back up. Go. Stop at the church.
Okay. Here's the church.
Okay. All right. Now bring that down.
This way?
No. Going up. To me, it's down for me. Go up.
Okay.
There's the white fence.
Where?
Go up more.
Okay. Okay.
There's that white fence.
Let's see here.
In that white house.
Gotcha. Right here. So that camera came from one of these houses over here.
Right. They're saying the one at the end.
This one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So this camera is shooting this direction.
Towards
it goes past this house. Okay, now
gate.
Okay, and he lives right here. So where the crime would have been happening at was right around in here. And they were found.
And then the other thing is, how could Richard Allen see the white van if he's already down below the hill, second hill?
He wouldn't have seen it, but he would have heard it.
Could be, but
you can hear, because of the way the gravel is on there, when somebody's driving on there, you can hear that.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Well, yeah, but the problem is, how would he? Why would be so much afraid of him since he wasn't being seen by Brad Weber himself?
But he didn't know that he wasn't seen by Brad Weber. It all depends on where Brad Weber was looking.
Yeah, it depends on where he was looking. So, I mean, because that kind of raises questions for me, because it's like, if Richard Allen got spooked and then took them across the creek, okay, that means he went from here to here really quick, okay, in a matter of just a couple minutes. But if he didn't arrive for 15 more minutes and the phone was already pinging over here, then he left before that car came.
All right, let me address this. It did not state that he saw a white van at trial. What they stated is that he was interrupted by a van coming down the private drive. They never said he saw the white van. And when we get the transcripts, it will show that.
See, the only white van we talked about is the guy from out west who talked about that little white van from the hog plant. That's the only white van we talked about during the whole entire case.
But then again, would he recognize a van by sound? He wouldn't have recognized the van by the sound. He would have known the van was coming down. A vehicle was coming down.
He would be like standing right underneath the bridge.
But he would have seen the white van as he crossed the creek and went up the embankment. You could probably see it from there.
Well, he would have to really be at the edge of Weber's hill over there to see him. If Weber didn't see Allen, why would he go?
I'm not saying that Weber saw Allen. I'm saying Allen saw the van going towards the house from the north side of the creek.
Well, if you zoom in on that hill.
On the hill?
Yeah, on Brad Weber's hill. The one that would face where the girls were. On the other side.
Okay, so it'd be right around in here. Yeah, right around in here.
So if there's trees up there, he wouldn't be able to see that. There's trees right there along that line. So he wouldn't be able to see the white van.
Well, if Richard Allen was over here, he'd be able to see it.
Yeah, but at that time, the trees aren't full. You can see through the trees.
So you just have to go down there and stand and see.
Yeah.
And just wait for Brad Weber to come home and stand.
I didn't see no way of seeing when down there with all the video from indie archives and stuff. With his drone, he turned it all around. He would have to be about 6'5".
Well, we're gonna have to find out. We're gonna have to go down there
and stand there and wait for Brad Weber to come home and see if we can see him from right here in this area.
Yeah.
And see if we can see a car driving down this road right here, which I'm sure you could.
Well,
at least you definitely hear it. You definitely hear it. So, I mean, but all of that with all that stuff being said,
no, he did not state that he was under the bridge when the van passed.
right?
All it said was that he was interrupted and he forced the girls across the creek and killed them.
Yeah.
That's why getting the transcripts is so important.
And someone said, like, he only knew about the white van because Walla told him about it. Well, Walla didn't know about the white van because she wasn't there. Yeah, she only got information from him.
No, everybody is stating that Walla knew certain things because she was in all of these Facebook groups before she started treating him.
Because only one white van we knew was from the hog plant. I can't think of his name, but Travel something. And he was mentioning that little white van from the hog plant that was one of the workers, but it wasn't that particular van.
Holden may have
You know what? There was another van.
Holden may have said that, but that was not stated in the trial.
Yeah, because he was, I mean, it only makes sense when you get to the other side where he would have taken him. Like underneath the bridge, perfect spot to be hidden. I mean, anywhere down there, you're kind of hidden.
Well, especially
in that general area.
Especially you're closer to the hill, no one wouldn't be able to see you if you're closer to the hill down the bottom part. But if you're actually standing underneath the bridge and you can see the road and him coming down that road, and that's the only way he would know.
Now, Mia, they could have just dropped the phone. Yes, they could have lost the shoe with the phone underneath the shoe. Or the shoe was there. Nope, this wouldn't work. So the phone would have had to have been dropped. The shoe was on top of it, and Abby's body was on top of both. Could it be that the phone and the shoe was dropped and a fight ensued and whatever, and it took after 2:32? It could have. That's one of the details we don't know.
See, he would have had those girls dead before 2:30 and left.
No, they're saying he hung around. In his confession, he stated he stayed there to make sure they were dead.
Yeah.
That means he stayed there and watched the life go out of their bodies.
And stabbed one of them more than once to make sure.
Right. Abby was only stabbed once.
You know,
and Libby was several times.
Yeah, that's so sad. Oh man, that's so sad. Just to think about that. Like he sat there, he's like, because he didn't want him to suffer. Are you kidding me? It's like, joke, dude. You know, like it doesn't make any sense. Go ahead.
So, you know, that out of everything that I've seen from the defense's information, because Nick detailed what he thought happened when so specifically, this is the only thing that I see that may get the appellate court's attention if they even look at it, because this was not brought in during trial. The appellate court more than likely won't even look at this,
because if it wasn't in trial and they try and throw all this other stuff in,
exactly,
and that's that's kind of like putting something else added to this case that has nothing to do with it.
Right.
Exactly. And that's
the information that they are going to review is what was presented at court, not all of this. That's why I'm saying the defense made a huge mistake not bringing in this video and this information when they questioned Brad Weber.
Right. That's a good question. Is it possible that the phone getting wet from crossing the creek caused phone to glitch and throw off the Apple data, which would or could make this timeline much more plausible?
Well, that is one of the things we're trying to see if we can find an expert on the iPhones to talk to. And that
my iPad got wet when I was crossing the creek. When I slipped and fell. When I crossed that creek, my iPad got wet. So yes.
Yours did?
Yeah, when I walked across the creek to Weber's side, my iPad, I slipped and fell several times just trying to get over where Weber's side is, and got wet. I had to dry it out to be able to use it.
Wow. You see, did it give you any kind of notices or anything like that? Did anything pop up on the screen and tell you it was wet?
No, I already knew it was wet, but it wouldn't let me turn it on or anything because I had to put in a rice to dry it out.
Indy Cindy, that's not true. They're gonna look at the errors, so-called errors, but there's other things that they have to take into consideration. Was the evidence, did the prosecution and the defense have this evidence the whole time? From what we can see, the answer is yes. So why wasn't it used during trial?
Because they're just grasping for straw. I think, okay, so I recently was in jail and filed an appeal and tried to bring up information that wasn't presented as evidence. And the appellate court denied that and said that you can't look at anything unless it was on the record, submitted already on the court's record. So this doesn't mean anything, in my opinion. This doesn't mean anything. This is not going to overturn anything. The appellate court won't even look at it. It's just, in my opinion, I think it's to incite public outrage.
I agree. But because Nick presented it the way he did, it does cause an issue.
I don't think you can overturn that, though. I mean, I don't think that you could tell a jury, like, go back and say, hey, I screwed up everybody. Like, I don't think that they would. I've never heard of that before.
Well, the other thing,
but who knows?
It's the appellate judge could say, hey, look, was not in the courtroom. They could have had that in the trial, but they didn't. And especially the other things that they try and put audience stuff in, and they can't do that in the appeals court.
Right. We are going to talk about the Ron Logan issue tomorrow.
That pissed me off about Ron Logan.
Well, I think I have some breaking bombshell news on that one that I found. So I just got to look into it a little bit more, but that will be our topic tomorrow.
Yeah, because what I saw in Ron Logan, you have to notice the one thing Ron Logan always wears, and the guy on the bridge didn't wear those on his feet, and only Ron Logan wears these type of boots. He doesn't cover them up.
Yeah, you are right. They did confirm that the cell phone data confirms that Brad Weber's phone pinged at that location at 2:50, which would be right about the time after he drives and gets down the driveway, that it's pinging off the towers. And I believe they said it was there. It stopped pinging at 11:55.
11:55. Okay.
So yes, in the document here that I'm reading, it says on the subject information sheet for Mr. Weber says on 2/13/2017, Weber's phone pings to parents' address overlooking crime scene initially at 2:50 p.m. and repeatedly pings around the property until 11:55 p.m. That Mr. Weber's phone first pings to his parents' address at 2:50 on February 13, 2017 is consistent with the video evidence, showing that Mr. Weber could not have arrived home in his white cargo van until sometime after 2:44. But they're saying that Mr. Weber's testimony was false because at the time of his arrival home, it would be false before it was elicited or failed to correct it once it had been elicited. When the state introduced testimony, it knows will be false or fails to correct testimony, it knows or should know to be false once elicited. A conviction must be vacated or reversed if that false evidence may have had an effect on the outcome of the trial. That is why I'm saying this may play a part in getting a retrial. This is the only thing that I can
again.
Okay. When the state introduces testimony it knows will be false or fails to correct testimony it knows or should know to be false. Once it's elicited, a conviction must be vacated or reversed if that false evidence may have had an effect on the outcome of the trial. And they cite NAPU 360 US at 272. See also United States versus Cardina. So that is why I'm saying if they're going to get their chance, I believe it's going to be from this, nothing else. And
I'm going to say he's hit.
And we'll explain in the next couple of lives that we do in the next couple of nights why I think the other stuff won't matter. They're saying that his testimony was false, Bossy.
It wasn't knowingly false. It was based on what Richard Allen said and the phone data. I mean,
no. When he testified, he said he went straight home. The prosecution said it only takes about 30 minutes to get from Subaru to his home, which would put him there at between 2:32 and 2:35. Somehow, it took him longer to get home.
I mean, traffic. You coming from Lafayette?
Road constructions.
True. And I don't think that they're taking any of that into effect. So it could have taken longer because of that. That would be the only thing that would save this.
Or accident. So yeah, it could be he could have got into somebody got an accident and he had to wait to get through the traffic.
So Greeno, I had asked you, did you map out the routes that he could have taken from Subaru to home on that day?
Yeah, I don't know his address, so
I can tell you there's several ways he can get to his house. On the back way.
Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, on the back way. That's exactly what I was looking at. It says it takes about 26 minutes to 30 minutes.
Because it depends on what part of Subaru he works in. There's a road leading to the back side of the Subaru and goes up to 900. And he can take that to State Road 26 or all the way up to the new State Road 25, the Heartland, that way.
Okay, let me pull this up and show you guys.
Shane, that's what we're questioning
right
too.
Can you guys see this?
No. It's not up.
It's not up? Okay.
It's
working here.
It's working.
There we go. Okay. So you guys see it? So this is where Subaru is. He could take 65 and come down and gets gets off here and heads. Oops. Sorry, I just clicked a whole bunch of crap.
I'm gonna mute here. I gotta run to the bathroom.
Okay. So
right
if I wouldn't have clicked that, ladies and gentlemen, let me just go ahead and start it over. Click this again. There we go. All right. So he would have came this way. He came home and went this way, and he wouldn't have came this little route here. I don't know why it did that, but he would have came all the way down to. Let's see. That takes us to the backside.
Mm-hmm.
We would have go over here.
Should put 625 up there. Yeah, put 625.
Yeah.
It might work better that way. Put 625 over there.
625. What is it, west?
I think so.
Is it north or south?
Yeah, I tried that one. The
north?
South. No,
That's
try
it.
the south.
That's it.
That's it? Okay.
Well, this is it right here. So this is south. Yeah. So this is it. So right here, it would have taken him 32 minutes according to this. Okay.
Without that extra side. Well, it'll be less than that. Because you got that one part off the highway going haywire.
Yeah, right here. For some
yeah,
reason,
that
I don't know why.
That would, if that was back to normal, it might be less than that.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. Let me stop it and restart it. That way we can get back on it with a better look there. So I'll just restart that one and see what I can pull up here. And until Marv gets back. Okay, so yeah, there we go. So now we're back on track.
Okay.
So it looks like,
well, it's still not.
Yeah, it would have taken 32, about 32 minutes. Let me go back and share it again. Actually, you know what? I've got another video here I was going to pull up for everybody to see it. It's drone footage of that area.
Oh.
Of the south end of the bridge, or southeast end of the bridge. So I'm just going to play that while we talk about it. I'm going to go ahead and mute it. That way we can see it. Okay, share screen. Cancel, present, share video file. Downloads. Anyway, how you been, Randy?
Oh, doing pretty good so far.
Yeah. Are you happy this is all over with, kinda?
Oh, yeah. Besides, everybody's keeping it going.
I know. Oh, man, it's so, miserable. Everybody's like, are you going to do live streaming? I'm like, yeah, man, the case is over. I'm done. I'm out of here. But it's it's just never going to end.
So my question is there a way to get a road report to see if there was road construction on any of those paths?
Yeah, you can look up online on that day of what road construction or accidents on Indiana State website. It can be looked up.
That is something that we probably should look into, because that could account for why the van was there later. But
yeah, with accidents, it'll show accidents, road construction areas, detours if they had to do detours.
Go to Indiana DOT.
Yeah.
INDOT,
yeah.
Yep. So that's the High Bridge area. This is courtesy of Indy Archive. Awesome drone stuff. So this is going to be the High Bridge on the south side is what we're going to take a look at as it goes through here.
I agree, Mia. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Saying that this could be an issue. But my big thing is, if since the defense had this all this time, why didn't they impeach his testimony with this video?
Yeah.
At the time of trial.
That's a good question. They knew it all that time when they asked for all the documents they want from the prosecutor.
Right. It was in the discovery.
Yeah. And
so why didn't you use it?
Why didn't you use it? Why question one of their detectives that was on their team to get all this out. It's one of the detectives who discovered it. Why didn't they ask?
Right. Because they brought up the fact, and they tried to get testimony of a guy via Zoom, and I don't remember exactly what that was about, but it was about Brad Weber's testimony and if he stopped and looked at ATM machines that day. Apparently, they're saying in an interview, he said that he may have stopped and looked at ATM machines that day, but when he was in court, he said no, he went straight home. So they did try to impeach him on that. Why didn't they use this video?
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't know anything they're doing. Like they're
needing another $12,000 to get that video.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to find someone that they can pay to push their narrative, pretty much.
Greeno, could Weber go Dayton to 421 to get home?
I mean,
he could.
Yeah, but that would take longer.
He can take the back road of SI or the Armory is, go up to 900 that way instead of go all the way on the highway. He can take 900 over 25. The new highway over there. So 900 will go straight to 25. And he could have took that one faster.
Okay, so it's over to Dayton. I see what you're saying. So yeah, he could have taken that road. So that would have been 900 east. It would have went straight to
25, the new 20 highway.
Almost straight to
Girl, that's what we were seeing earlier, is because of this evidence wasn't used in trial, it is probably not going to play a part in the appeal.
Yeah, there you go. See, that's why I don't think that's a good one. I follow lawyers aren't allowed to save info for later use for an appeal. Yeah, so see, that's why I think that they're toast. Did I threaten Baldwin? No.
This was in the discovery.
I'd like to.
The defense even said it. That this has been in the discovery. They've had this.
Yes, they had everything. They complained this whole entire time. They didn't have it, but they did.
And they were saving this instead of saving him. Bad job. We all said that the defense was very unorganized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the defense team was asking for the prosecution to put together, like, we wanted in binders labeled with what's that called? The table of contents and stuff. Like, yeah. We need it to, and I mean, McClellan wrote back and was like, basically they want us to do all their work for them.
Right.
Is organize everything. He's like, when we get this, it's not organized.
All they did is stay on the oldism. They didn't look at anything else in that stuff the prosecutor gave them.
Yeah, but Donna, the problem is that this evidence could have used to perjure a witness who testified in the case. It should have been used then. And it wasn't. So they can't use it now, is what we're saying.
Yeah, they can't use it. They're hit. I mean, look, they're just doing this. And here's my biggest thing. Why is this on Michael Ausbrook's channel? Why is this? Right. Why does he even have it? He's not their attorney, his attorney. You know what I mean? Like, who's he?
Ron,
he thinks I did it.
Ron is not an oldness. I'm sorry. These people keep on throwing people are oldness and Masons. Like, Mason has nothing with this case.
Right. When questioning,
that's
could have questioned his timeline. Exactly. And they could have brought these videos into evidence to perjure his testimony, meaning to show he was lying. or to show that the prosecution's timeline was off because the van didn't come in until 2:44. But they never did that. Why not?
Because they're playing this passive aggressive thing where they want to talk a bunch of crap behind the scenes, get everybody stirred up, and don't actually confront the person that they want.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But
you know,
the reason we started with this particular part of the documents dropped is because, like I said, if by some chance he gets a retrial, it may be because of this. I don't see it from any of the other information dropped, and we'll go over that in the next few nights when we go over that other information. They're trying to say that this is new evidence.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be something else.
It's not, because they've had it since they got the discovery.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, they want
this whole
FBI agent to testify, but Gull wouldn't let him do it by video.
By video because they have a right to cross-examine. That's why. You have a right to see that person in person. And that's what your Constitution says. So you have a right to see that person and cross-examine them. And if they're not there, they can't testify and you can't see them.
Right. And Victoria, you have to put in there, you're right, 61 confessions, matching bullet, can't produce 2017 cell phone, but has 20 other old phones. But you have to put in there, he put himself there. Mm-hmm. He's the one that put himself there on the bridge.
Yeah, dressed like bridge guy.
Like bridge guy. That's another major factor.
You also think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone says, did Kathy know? Did Kathy know about him? Did she know this or that? Well, we heard the phone calls. We seen the interrogation. She didn't know. When Richard Allen called that tip line, when Dan Doolin called him back and said, hey, man, I want to follow up with your tip. Can I come over? He said, no, you cannot come over to my house. Okay, can I meet you at your work? No. Why would he do that? Because he didn't want his work and he didn't want his wife to know that he was even out there. He hid it from them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He hid that from them. Why else would he do that?
And you got to remember that in that phone call or in that interrogation video that I saw that you didn't see, when they brought Kathy Allen in the room, she said, you never told me you were on the bridge.
Yep.
He admitted to being on the trail, but not on the bridge. And she said, how did your bullet get between them?
And his response? Be gaslit her, didn't he? Like, well, you know I didn't do it.
Yeah, he did. So
Jerry Holman said that he's a manipulator. He's manipulating his family with religion. He manipulates anybody and everybody to get exactly what he wants.
Well,
I can see that.
And there was two things he wanted the most. He wanted to be moved out of Westville, and he wanted in-person visits with his wife. And when he wasn't getting those things, that is when he was in the psychosis and eating his own you-know-what and doing all kinds of other things.
Doing all kinds of singing songs and having a good old time, huh? Such a weirdo, man. That's the bridge guy for you, everybody.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kathy told him to call in since he was there. No DNA, not the right guy. No, Kathy didn't tell him to call in.
Yes,
she never told him to call in.
Yes, she did. That was
after
that was testified to, that she told him to call and tip it in because he may have seen something that he didn't realize he saw as a witness. So yes, that was part of the testimony.
Then why wouldn't he let him at his house?
Or,
you know what I mean?
go to
Like,
the
there's
police
some
station.
reason for that.
Right.
Or go to the police station. Why he didn't want to go to the police station?
Right. And why, when they went and interviewed him the day he was arrested on October 26th, did he empty out his pockets and give everything to her, signaling that he knew he was going to get arrested that day?
It's kind of weird. Different signs you watch how people do, and they're like, "Yeah, I want to get arrested," but he didn't.
Yeah, and I want to point this out to everybody. I want to tell everybody something that most people don't know, and this is a big misconception. Richard Allen could have bonded out of jail at any moment in time, and he didn't have to sit in Westville. He could have bonded out. He was never held without bail. If you read the docket, it says he has a $20 million bail. It was never changed. Never changed. I never said that. CJ and I talked about that before trial because we didn't want anybody to bond him out. Richard Allen had a bail the whole time. If everyone just goes and reads the court docket, it says he was given a $20,000 or $20 million bail. It was never changed from that time.
$20 million bail.
Because all the bail bonds can't come up with no $20 million bail if you don't have no collateral.
Right.
20 he doesn't exactly. So I mean,
come up with the money. So that's why they're saying he had no bail.
He had
no shot at getting bail.
Well, if he would have, so it would have been 10%. So what's 20 million would be what? Yeah. How much is 10%? Yeah.
Andrew says, who the hell has that kind of money besides celebrities and all that, You know
what? If you would have taken 20 million and cut that down to 10%, someone out there would have paid that for him. Someone else could have paid it. You know what I mean? Look at all the stuff that's going on now. Look at all these people that support him.
Well, yeah, look how many GoFundMes they got to raise for their case and stuff.
Yeah, $42,000.
Right, for experts.
Crazy. For experts, yeah. So they could pay Don Perlmutter $30,000 to lie. Basically, because she just said what she saw on TV. So and then Click got arrested. For lying on probable cause affidavits and other things and stuff. So all sorts of this corruption,
It's $400,000. That's what he needs to be bailed out.
He could have made that. He could have made that bond.
And like Anthony said, that bounty hunter bailed out Casey Anthony. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah, see, also that Robert Durst guy, he was bonding out and killing people.
But one thing is, if he would be still alive, if he did that, bail out.
Yes, I agree, Davey, that if the defense had brought this in during the time of trial, which was a major mistake, in my opinion, that they didn't, it could have brought up reasonable doubt, because if you remember the jurors' interview with Murder Sheets, she said the white van for her was a big factor because nobody knew about it in the confessions. So would that
and as many confessions? I think the totality of how many confessions there were to so many different people played a big role in it. Why would you just tell everybody that you did that? You know what I mean? Like, if you didn't really do it and you just telling everybody for no reason, just because you think it's cool or whatever, like, that would be stupid. The dude's he wasn't crazy. He was just going through a period of depression. When you go to jail, you go through these phases. First, you go through this very, like, immediately you're taken away from everything. So you're depressed, but then you start realizing, like, man, when am I getting out of here? You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter how long you're going to be there. You start to get this feeling like, am I ever going to get out of here? And then once you start realizing you're going to be there for a minute, you go through a period of depression where you really get down and you think about self-harm and you're crying and life's over and everybody forgot you, and that's what they're calling psychosis. But in reality, it's just, hey, you suffering the consequence of what you did, and now you're paying the price and you're not liking it. I've been there and done it. So,
well, and if you're trying to confess to your wife and your mother, and they are constantly saying, oh, we know you didn't do this, they're messing with your food, they're messing with your medication, they're doing this, they're doing that, we're calling your attorneys, it's going to affect your psyche.
Yeah, and he said no. He said no to that too. When she's like, no, they're doing something to you. He said, no, they're not.
Right.
I mean, that's why, when we finally get those, which still haven't got them, we should be able to play those for everybody. You know what I mean? And everybody should be able to see that kind of stuff. You guys should be able to see everything that we saw in court.
Yes, I agree.
That is what's upsetting for me, because they're not being... People say I'm like a pro-state guy or whatever. I'm all about the prosecution, and I'm not all about the prosecution. Trust me, I really don't like those people. But I also don't agree with the way the court's handling these documents and this evidence and stuff and keeping everything so sealed up and secret when it shouldn't be.
Well, now, that kind of leads into another live that I want to do this week, because the Idaho 4 case is following suit. All documents are sealed. They're having sealed hearings, all kinds of stuff going on in that case now. So that'll be an update coming probably next week now, because it's Wednesday, and we have a few more lives to do on all this stuff. So I'll be updating you on that chaos too.
Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we have a really cool treat for you guys. So, like, Marv, you want to tell them what we got? So check this out, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to talk about Ron Logan, you want to talk about this confession and this inmate, Ricky Davis, we got something that's going to blow your mind when it comes to all this. So if you think Ron Logan is the guy based on this confession that he told this inmate that told a cop, which is hearsay, you might want to tune in for that tomorrow, because Marv, tell them what we got.
Well, I'm not going to tell you what I have, but I am going to tell you that I have a big breakthrough to prove my theory of why the cops did not find Ricky Davis as a credible witness and thought that he was lying about these confessions.
Lying.
So
So there you go. If you okay, and that's something I questioned earlier. If people believe Elvis Fields, if people believe Ricky Davis, why don't you believe Richard Allen when he says he did it? Yeah.
I agree.
Why don't it? Because it's like anybody but him. It's like that's where it comes into. It can't be that way.
Because Ron didn't have no 61 confessions to anybody when he was in jail.
Well, the confession doesn't even align with the evidence, first of all. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Elvis Fields' confession doesn't line with the evidence. There was no spit on them. That's not a nexus. Someone saying something is not a nexus. It is not a connection. Anybody could say anything. I mean, you could say this guy was there. Shane was there that day. I could say Shane was there, and Shane told me all this stuff in the chat. I'm picking on you, Shane. I could say Shane's told me all this stuff. How does that make that credible? Right. Because I said that he said that. Now,
Quizzical
Ron's
Girl,
dead.
That's the biggest question of the day. Why wasn't these videos presented at trial to perjure Brad Weber? I don't know.
Yeah, because they're wasting everybody's time with this. I think
they're playing their games again. Like
again, why? What's the purpose of this? Like, is it just to like piss people off? I mean, what is the purpose? Implicate innocent people again after they got called out by the cops and everybody at the press conference? Like, for doing all this?
And which one is it? Did the Oldness do it or did Ron Logan do it? They
can't decide.
Right. They totally can't decide. And they want you to believe that Richard Allen is innocent, but they can't give you a clear story on what happened, who did it. You know, they're just grasping at straws.
Yeah. And they're not going to get anywhere with it. I think that this is just a publicity stunt that's just trying to get people upset and freaking out. So they
still want those $100 an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. And did you see Mark Lehman as one of the people that got appointed? Marv, you remember who that is?
It wasn't he involved in the Supreme Court when they wanted to get the lawyers back on?
Yeah, he represented the lawyers. Yeah, he's one of the guys that spoke there. Him and Carol Weineke, they spoke, and now he's representing him, which, go figure. I mean, it's like hand in hand.
Right. And you guys got to realize that the reason they're bringing up the lawyer for before the safekeeping, well, I shouldn't say that one, but the reason they're bringing up this whole Ron Logan confession thing is because they didn't have the proof and they couldn't bring it into the trial.
Yep.
Yeah, they couldn't bring it into the trial. So, and here's the thing: when was this confession? When was this interview with Ricky actually conducted? Do we know?
Yes, we do.
Was it after Logan died?
No, it was long before. This happened in 2017.
That confession did, supposedly? Or that interview with Ricky Davis? Yeah, and everybody said that's heard Richard Allen's voice will tell you that's Richard Allen on that video.
So the tip was that's
his voice.
There was a tip about Ricky Davis that was put into the Orient tip file in December 4th, 2023. But before that, on June 21st of 2017 is when he wrote out his statement stating that Ron Logan had confessed. But we'll get into a lot of that tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow is a Ron Logan. We're going to have a hog roast tomorrow, everybody. In the backwoods of some old man's house.
Yep.
So all this comes out. What does it do? It incites everybody. It gets everybody stirred up for what? There's no jury to influence. The appellate court's not going to be influenced by social media. I'll tell you that.
No.
I mean, what's the purpose of this? Is it just to get stuff in the spotlight? Is it to screw people up, implicate innocent people? I mean, I don't understand the motive here behind this whole thing. Why is this still going on?
Like, we already know that some people send stuff in during the trial phase of other YouTubers on defense team. They send all this crap in, 200-pound stuff, showing that Richard Allen's guilty. Here's the other party who did it.
Yeah.
Bridge troll.
Yeah. So, all right, tomorrow night we're going to talk about the whole Ron Logan confession and Ricky Davis. The following night, we're going to go into more detail about Gibson, the attorney, and the safekeeping, probably. And then the following night, we're going to go into the fourth part of it. And then at some point, we'll do a question and answer with everybody. And then wait for the next shoe to drop.
Yeah, which will probably be coming up next week.
Donna, he ain't going to get another court hearing because of the third party. They're not putting that in.
Yeah, you can't do that now. You can't introduce third parties after trial. That had to be done before and during trial. And they didn't do it. They actually didn't even call Keegan Klein, and they had him subpoenaed, and Ricky. They had them both. They had Ricky subpoenaed, didn't they?
Yes.
For court to come to trial, and they never called him. They gave up. They walked in and said, "We rest."
Yep.
Instead of pulled him in, because the judge had said something the day before. She said,
right.
I know that we have some people that's going to be coming, you know, and we all knew who it was because we were looking at the court orders and we were thinking Keegan Klein's got to be up, you know, and this other dude, well, they just chose not to do that. So they had the opportunity to pull him in and say, hey, man, tell us about this confession about Ron Logan. They never made that nexus. So they screwed themselves on that.
Yeah. And they were going to put all of this on the record so that it could go to the Supreme Court outside the presence of the jury, and they never did. They never did.
Exactly.
So now they're trying to backtrack and bring it in. And it doesn't work that way.
Nope, can't do it like that. Once that conviction's handed down, it's over. And here's the thing. I saw on somebody else's channel, this girl that I occasionally watch, but she never really talks to me, is constantly saying that like Richard Allen is being kept in isolation and all this stuff, but he had a bunkie at RDC when he was there. So he was with somebody in a cell 23 hours a day on his way to before he went to Westville. Where he's at now, I don't know where he's at in the jail or in the prison, but he's not under this safekeeping order anymore. So he should be put out in general population, or at least
what I heard is he's in where the murder place section is, where he just stays in his cell all the time. And
well, that can't. I don't know that that's right, but
I wonder if that's by his choice.
Because he knows.
Would you come out?
No, I would not.
Either.
He would know. It's like, if I get in population, I might not be here. He probably wants to be where it's more safe.
That's not Westville. So they picked the worst place for him to go. I mean, it's not a good place, especially to be screaming like Odinist and stuff like that. I mean, he's not in a good place. I mean, no, sorry.
We have
just look up
Westville 5 other super prisons he could have gone to, but he chooses
Pendleton.
Yep.
Let's see, Miss you. Do you have Greeno's new channel info? Oh yeah, I guess I should tell everybody that. So, hit me up over here, ladies and gentlemen. True Crime Rewind Podcast is the name of this channel here, and it's also on Spotify. So that's where you can find me. I'm no longer going to use the Investigation Unsolved because that was originally CJ's, but I'm going to use this one over here. So if you guys want to jump over here, that's where you can get me at, right here. And I'll be doing collabs with Marv and stuff like that, because I really don't do a lot of live streaming anymore because, like I said, the case is over. And that, for me, that was really my purpose of live streaming and perpetuating the record of what's happening, was to make sure that the truth was told. And it was because we got a conviction, and dude's going to be in prison for the rest of his life.
Yeah, you've actually been trying to help me with other stories and get stuff together to get stuff out to the audience. So,
well, yeah, when I was at the courthouse, a lot of people were saying once this is done and over, we'll move on. They're not going to do any more other murder cases just like this, who went beyond crazy. But yeah, I haven't done anything on murder cases yet.
No, I mean it's kind of like just that big sigh of relief, you know. It's just like it was so overwhelming. I mean that was an emotional day. It was very, high powered and stressful leading up to the conviction, and the 4 days of waiting. They say the jury deliberated for 19 and a half hours, but you also have to take into account we had a Sunday in there. They didn't deliberate that day. So we had another day, a whole nother 24 hours that we sat there and just waited till the next day they came in, It's to me, this is over with, I see your guys' questions. Someone asked something.
Yeah, I was looking to.
Greeno, did they say you could have, when did they said I could have it today. Is when they said today was, but you know what? I haven't even checked my emails, to be honest, which I probably should do right now and see if it is in here. If it is, I'm still not going to play it tonight. I'll play it tomorrow.
Yes, Linda. There, the walk is in April the 5th at 1 p.m.
Yeah, and actually, I'm gonna be there on the 13th and 14th for some things that I have to do, and that is the final phase for me. And what I'm working on is the 13th and 14th of this year. So if you guys want to, you guys can come on the 13th and 14th, and you can meet me. It'd be probably one of your last times to be able to do so if you guys came. And FOIA requests are free. You just got to pay for whatever they release, like the documentation. So you just fill out the information, cite law, send it to them. They respond back. They have a time limit to respond back, and then they go, they charge you for getting these documents and stuff like that. So who knows? None
of this comes free, you guys. None of this is going to come free. They are going to charge for them.
Yeah, none of it comes free, trust me. And when that time comes, of course, I'm gonna say, hey, if you guys want to help contribute to it, contribute to it.
Need help.
I don't know a cost. Yeah, I don't know a cost on what those are. So whenever they let us know, we can go from there, because I don't know. It's questionable. So I couldn't give anybody a number and say it's going to cost $500 for all this stuff. I don't know.
I'm assuming this is going to be well over $20,000 to get everything we want. If Tabitha's transcripts are going to cost me $12,000.
Oh, wow.
And that was only a 14-day trial. This is going to be well over $20,000 to get all the exhibits, all the transcripts, everything we want. So
that's a lot.
Yeah.
You have new evidence on Jack the Ripper, Dustin?
Who? Jack the Ripper?
Yeah, Dustin, you're covering a new evidence in Jack the Ripper mystery.
Oh, I'll have to look into that.
Because I read the detective who wrote his book about the Jack the Ripper, and he found the one who comes close to him.
Really? Oh yeah, trust me. I there's no way. $20,000?
Yeah, can't afford that. All the creators are going to have to get together and say, this is how much I can afford. I'll get these, and these, and then share them with everybody. And the next creator will jump in and get some, and next creator, and we'll all have to share, because that's only way we're going to get it out there.
Hey, Johnny Blaze.
Yeah, Johnny. So that stuff we're going to be talking about tomorrow when it comes to Ron Logan and these so-called confessions. It's coming from an inmate that was in there with him. And we'll tell you all about that tomorrow. We have some proof that would show you why they thought or they didn't pursue that. Yeah. Yep. We don't need 20. What would you guys want to see, I guess, out of everything that was released or the exhibits and stuff like that? What do you think? Yeah. What do you think is most important for people, the public, to see? The two things that are the most important that you would say people need to see these.
Well, I think it'd be the evidence. People want to see the evidence. Everybody's
which pieces though?
Yeah. Well, it could be any evidence, I guess.
I would say the bridge guy video, the confessions, the car. Those are the things that I asked for.
The interrogation tapes.
The interrogation tapes. That's what I asked for. The confessions, the phone calls, the bridge guy video, and the car footage. To show everybody this is what we saw, and here's where it is. Just like they have that video right there. How come I can't see Richard Allen's car on the video? On a video. Why won't they give that? That's not a crime scene photo. It's not a photo of the deceased, and it's not a photo of, or it's not infringing on Richard Allen's mental health. It's stuff that the public saw in court that should be available to the public, not hidden.
So, video of BG, confessions, police interviews, confession timeline, the BG video.
I think a lot of people want to see that, the bridge guy video, because there's so much rumor and speculation still about that, as people are like, you can't see anything on the bridge.
Yeah. I have to go through my notes to find that information for you because they told us what it was. So I'm going to have to look today and tomorrow and we'll find out. So phone calls with mother and wife. Yep.
Which they're pretty compelling. That's what we listened to them. There were 7 of them played. Only 7. Think about that. Out of 61 that they have, only 7 were played in court.
Yeah.
They were pretty compelling to me.
Do you know how long that trial would have been if they played any more than the 7?
Oh my gosh, dude, we would have been sitting there for
I'll leave it up to Max. He probably would have done more than that.
We would have been sitting there for days because half the time they couldn't even get that thing to work. Remember the very first look, this is where I started getting really nervous in this case. The first day of trial, Marv and I were the first 2 standing in line. And we get in there and we're sitting there, and the first thing they got up is the television. It's right there. It's big TV. Yep. It's right there in the courtroom. And Steve Mullen gets up, goes to turn it on because they were going to start off with the video of the bridge guy.
Yes, they were.
They wanted to show you that to start off. And guess what? It took them 20 minutes to figure out how to turn the TV on, and it still wouldn't work. And so they basically said, all right, we'll scratch that idea. Let's go ahead and move on to this. And it's like, well, wait a minute, man. I wanted to see the video. They were screwing up right off the get. And it's like, okay, now I can see how they deleted 70 days worth of interviews if they're acting like that around technology.
Oh, yeah. They didn't know how to work technology, believe me.
At all, none of them did. It was,
and I think that's a major reason why this was not televised by them, because they had the cameras, they had the access. They don't know how to use it.
They don't know how to use it. Yeah, they're totally brand new to all that stuff. So, yeah, it was insane.
No see-through. They were going to start with
the bridge guy. Yeah.
Bridge guy video.
Yep, because that was their whole purpose of the trial, was they wanted to prove that Richard Allen is the bridge guy. That's all they wanted to do. Like, that was his whole purpose, was to convince them that he is the bridge guy, and then they get felony murder at the least. Yeah. Was I there for which testimony? Which testimony are you talking about?
Okay, so D. Berlin says Libby's video, interrogation videos, Dan Doolin's report from first interview with Richard Allen. We'll have to see if we can get that, because I don't think that they never showed us that. The jury got to see it. Let's see here.
Okay.
McClellan said which interview was that? Because I don't remember hearing that in the 2 interviews I saw.
Yeah, no, it was the bridge guy video. So I'm gonna have to roll out here in a minute.
Yes, Richard Allen was rolling his eyes at the judge during the sentencing and throughout the trial.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, hang on just a second. I'll be right back. Okay.
Okay. Randy, any last minute closing thoughts on this whole Brad Weber and the van and what we talked about tonight?
Well, I don't know. It's just how between they're just being on Brad Weber's butt all the time.
Yeah.
Now, that's the question. It's like, why are they coming up with this? That's my only question. It's like, they just didn't do their job to search the real evidence. And like I said, they've only been on this all this time, but they didn't look at any other paperwork they got and move on. But
yeah.
And then they're attacking Ron Logan, a dead person.
Well, the only thing that I don't like about all this is that the families.
Yeah.
Once again, it comes down to the families and the stress it brings on them. And they're trying to move on. They're trying to heal and move on without their 2 precious girls, and they can't do this when the stuff keeps getting thrown in their face.
Well, that's why Spencer asked me what's next. That's my walk in April. He said, why wait that long? That's one reason to make sure everything's on and moved on.
Right.
He's already had enough of all these people already. And already seeing Delphi getting back to normal, but you got these people who want to stalk these families now. It's like, this is not good.
No. So, that's the part that really bothers me, is that these families just can't be left alone, because this defense team is always throwing this crap in their face.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't heal and grieve, and
they're the ones that are having all these people who are on YouTube side for the defense team making it worse and make up all kinds of lies, and it's got to stop. Becky said in the last walk, she said she wants to move on, get all this done and with. We don't want to have to worry about it anymore.
Right. She wants the girls' legacy to live on. She doesn't want us to ever forget the girls.
No.
But when it comes to all this other stuff, she wants to move on.
Yeah. And that's why I said in April will be the last time celebrating the girls, because everybody's moving on. But we can get together for other reasons. Like you said, Marv, still remember the girls.
Well, we have a lot of other cases up there in that area that we can look at and promote. So there's other cases to be looked at in Indiana and around the world. So it's crazy. I seriously thought that we were going to be done with this for a while, especially since they haven't even filed for the appeal yet. And now this. So
why will this? What's this? Why will this be the last walk? To move on, the family can be able to move on. This would be the last walk for
a while.
For a while, yeah. But we can get together. We're always get together for different things. Do walks, what kind of walks, or anything else. Tabitha, there's Tabitha walk. I don't have transportation, but there's Tabitha, and then Flora. Yeah, you got Flora, and
there's plenty of walks you can do for other victims. So
to make sure they're remembered and not forgotten. Their case has been so long, and they gave up.
Yep. So I do plan on covering Flora, Evansdale, picking back up Tabitha. You've got the Karen Reed trial. You've got this year. You've got the Idaho 4 trial. You've got Lori Daybell's trial. We've got Flint Farmer's trial. There's multiple ones. I made a list for Anthony and the dates about when they're going to start. So I mean, we got tons of trials on cases that we've been following. I have tons of updates to do on cases that we have put on this channel, and I have new cases to bring. So it's just I'm just going to have to button down and do live streams and pre-recorded videos with Anthony's help on this all to get us caught up.
Yes, and we definitely need to get those, the pre-recorded things and everything done. And that's why I've been doing things the way I've been doing it here lately, ladies and gentlemen, because I got other things I got to work on and also help other people create their content, which is kind of what I do, is make things for her and other people that keeps them going and that keeps me going. So that's kind of what I do. But I'm going to have to roll out of here because I need to do some stuff here. It's 10:14, but you know what? It's good to see everybody in here. And tomorrow is what I'm really interested in. And plus, this gives me an opportunity to start making the video for tomorrow for this stuff that we got. So Sterling, when he gets back in here, I'm sure he'll be back. He ditched us to go over on somebody else's channel and argue with Sleuthy Goosey. So Sterling, you chump, I'm gonna kick your ass tomorrow, dude. We're gonna debate like crazy with Sterling. Sterling and I are going at it.
Who wouldn't want to go argue with Sleuthy Goosey?
I know. I want to argue with Sleuthy Goosey too. So Sleuthy, come on over here.
Thank you for joining us tonight, Randy. We appreciate it. Anthony, always a great duo we are, I believe. And we do have more live streams coming up. Like I said, not only that, I would still like to do either pre-recorded videos on the interviews with Holman, McClellan, the juror. We kind of covered the juror, but the sentencing transcripts have come out. So there's so many things to do. But I was working on other cases. So I'm trying to find a balance of the two. But you'll be seeing a lot more of me. Maybe I'll start doing some morning lives also, just to get everything out there. So
okay. All right. Well, that works for me. I will be right here every step of the way, everybody. So this isn't over till it's over, I guess. I'll be
Join
here
us tomorrow night
on Beyond the Evidence and the True Crime Rewind podcast, everybody.
Yes.
I guess until next time, I'm Anthony Greeno. Keep it Southern style, y'all. Take it, Marv.
And remember, justice matters for each and every one of these victims and their families. Have a good night.
Thank you for calling Greeno.